Hey friends, I'm Diamond Ballet, and this is my best friend, Brittany Daisy.
What up, though? You are listening to the Good Girls Wild Thoughts podcast.
Yes, yes, yes. So y'all already know how we do. We are good girls. This is the Good Girl Devotion, which is just a disclaimer to say, hey, we are good girls, but we have wild thoughts, child. Okay.
Now, before we escape into the wild, we just need to be clear that this is a judgment free zone.
Because guess what? God hears all, sees all, and He forgives all.
All right, so we just want to make sure that we are on one accord. All right, we good? Amen.
Amen.
All
So,
right,
how are you, friend?
I am feeling so good today. How
I
about you?
know, me too, because it's a special day.
It's a very special day for
It's
us and
so
the
surreal.
whole Good Girl Wild Thoughts tribe.
Yeah, it's so surreal. So, if you guys don't know, we've been doing this podcast all year now for the most part, and it's coming to an end. Season one. We
Every
came out
Sunday,
banging.
we have been here every Wednesday since January 21st. Talk about consistency, okay?
Because what?
It's
This is
giving
what
consistent. It's
mm.
giving show up for yourself, okay?
Man, it's giving just like be obedient and he'll bless you. Okay, because this has been a blessing to me so much so I
Yes.
can't wait till we just like chop it up. But let's get into some petty
Come on,
time.
you know this is my jam. Go ahead with the song, girl. Go ahead.
Chatty, patty, chatty, patty, chatty, patty, hey, chatty, patty. When y'all see my hair go to the side like that, you already know Chatty Patty about to come out with the cut.
Chatty Patty. It is our season finale, Chatty Patty.
Yes.
So, y'all know this is my favorite segment of the show. And so
Mhm.
I just want to end this season on a high note. Okay.
Come
Let's
on.
get into
Come
some
on. What we talking
good,
about?
just, chatty patty time.
Mhm.
I want to talk about miracles.
Ah, yeah. Miracle signs and
Okay.
wonders.
Miracles, signs, and wonders. So,
Mhm.
y'all know we try to be our most honest and transparent selves here on the Good Girls podcast.
Yep.
And so I want to talk about how um, sometimes I struggle with seeing the miracle. Or
We
not, I don't
talked
know if
about
I
that.
struggle seeing the miracle, but I know you and I have had the conversation where I felt like I have to like work hard for my miracles and blessings in a sense.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Yeah.
Like I
It's like
think,
a little bit more for people who like may identify with you or not really sure what that means.
yeah. So I mean, I can just remember from my youngest days of hearing people in church testify about blessings and miracles where it's like I ain't have no job and no money and a bad credit score, but I went to the dealership anyway and God blessed me with a car, like
Mhm.
so I've heard things like that. I've seen, in people with in close proximity to me just talk about how they have done and operated things in faith and they've gotten these big blessings
Mhm.
to me, which seems like with very little work.
Yeah.
Whereas to me,
Mm,
I feel like the blessings come and the miracles happen, but it's always like in response to things that I have done. Like
yeah.
it's like, yeah, okay, God will bless me with a job, but I done filled out 99 applications and I went to 17 interviews, and then even though it's still a blessing, right? And sometimes it does come in miraculous ways. It seems
Yeah.
like it's always like after I have done 9 steps
Yeah.
and then the blessing
Yeah.
comes versus other people what seem, and not saying that it's the reality, but it seems like they just literally have that little mustard seed
Yeah.
and then the blessings
Yeah.
come showering
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Well, that's my journey for sure.
Yeah, like, I guess I want, like, that literal mustard seed faith to pay
Yeah.
off versus I feel like mine is like a watermelon, like, I got watermelon faith, and other people only need a mustard seed, like
Yeah. It seems like even just hearing you say the synopsis, I feel like the miracle comes out of the work that I've done. It sounds like the scriptures that talks about the diligence of a man's hands and what brings about fruit and
Mhm.
or whatever. And I think that's just plain, like right, like I don't think that defines a miracle, right?
Yeah.
When you work and when you're diligent, you're going to see the fruits of your labor. You're going to see
Mhm.
the outcome that you plan for. I think that's what
Right.
it is. I think we have to get an understanding of what miracle is. Miracle
Yeah.
is almost like grace, and grace is when we receive something when we are unmerited of that thing, when we are undeserving or really didn't earn it for
Yeah.
real, you know?
Exactly.
And miracles is exactly that. Miracles is when God intervened supernaturally on your behalf when you did not see it coming, or when your faith was there but sight unseen of seeing it coming. That is a miracle. And I
Yeah.
think that takes your believing in the word of God and your faithing in God
Mhm.
to understand how to journey to get a miracle. And
Mhm.
my journey has been literally like, okay, Lord, like I really, test his word. Like, look, you said
Yeah.
life and death is in the power of the tongue. You said when I act, knock, seek, and find, I will receive. You said,
Mhm.
when I ask, I shall receive, the wealth of riches is in my father's house and I should have it. You know what I mean? Like I literally took him at his word. So from my journey, like and Daisy, my story, like my journey has always been with cars. And other things too, but these are the wild ones. And I had I'll just talk about this most recent one. It was time for me to go car shopping. I was sick of the car that I had, and I was like, "Yeah, God, we need to change this up." And
Mhm.
so my nephew was on the way to his college, and I was like, "Okay, God, well, I want a brand new car. I want it in my name, and I don't want to have to sell the car that I have now. I want to give it to my nephew."
Mm.
And literally, I just went shopping. I thought it was a BMW X5, X3. That's what I wanted. Then my mama made a suggestion, like, you need to go to this place. And I was like, oh my God. Girl went
Mhm.
there, fell in love. It was the exact color. It was my favorite color. Didn't think I would get that kind
Yeah.
of car, whatever. And literally, it was a blessing.
Mhm.
On the bank, they sent me a big check. I went in, and kept my
Yeah.
car. Got a new car the year before it was supposed to come out. Like that's how brand new it was. And I
Mhm.
think that was because of the years I've been practicing my faith in the
Yeah.
Lord. Like I'm a person who literally live like the fowlers in the air, right? Like his word says, you feed the fowlers in the air and you clothe the lilies in the grass. And what happens when the birds are flying? They're not flying with book bags on them stuffed with food because God said he would provide it. They're just doing what they're normally going to do. And
Right.
they're starving and hungry. Oh, what do you know? I found this to go eat. I'm on top of a tree. I'm on top of a car eating from something because it was provided for them. Like the whole earth
Mhm.
for them to survive. And that's kind of like how I live my life. And I think for most of us, we probably need to start there with our miracles, being
Yeah.
flowers in the air and being lilies in the grass, meaning journeying through your life and just allowing it to show up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like trusting that he will provide. And I think once you train that muscle, then you can not even then you can start believing for big things, like it's levels, but it's kind of some steps
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
your, like you said,
Right.
must be to watermelon. Like I think it's kind of steps to that.
Mhm. No,
So
I
I
agree. And I
think
think in the midst of my frustration or whatever it was, I am learning to uh be very grateful and excited for the small miracles,
mm,
because
yeah,
again, it's not that I think miracles are absent from my life. It's just like
correct.
my level of, I guess, expectation or desire of what it should look like. And we know with everything that anytime we expect something, that don't mean that that's the way God has it, how it's going to look according to God's plan.
Yeah,
So I'm very grateful. I'm trying to be just more attentive to the small miracles so
yeah,
he can trust me with the big ones.
yeah,
Um and I think over the course of our friendship, you have really like challenged me and taught me how to walk the faith walk, because I am like the more logical one and the one that
mhm,
can often, like rely on my works,
yeah,
like the ability of within self. Which it can be good as well, but I really did need at a point I really needed to increase the faith aspect of it, and you were able to give me very good tips and pointers and
Yeah.
journey through that with me. So I'm very grateful for that. I remember one time you were just like kind of telling me like to when I asked to truly ask in faith and not in desperation.
That's what
Um,
I was going to bring up too. Like maybe sometimes people don't see the small miracles because we are desperately
for something
wanting the
bigger.
bigger
Mhm.
miracle. Yeah,
Yeah. Right,
that's
and I think that point right there, like, sometimes it's not even just a want of the bigger, it's like a need for the bigger,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"No, God, I need you to come through and blow my mind,"
Mhm,
But even with that, in the book that I'm reading, The Lost Books of the Bible, is
mhm.
a scripture in there that talks about when you ask, you have to ask with no doubt.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so yeah, we can hear like ask in faith, but in a more relatable term for me, it was like ask with no doubt.
Without doubt.
Like,
You gotta give
yeah,
the
without
opposite of
doubt.
it. Yeah, because like
Mhm.
when you don't know what faith is or how to faith, you gotta give the negative of what the person is doing. They're doubting so much. So now you gotta
Exactly.
take it and say, hey, you gotta ask without doubt,
Yeah.
without fear. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Without because I feel like some people don't understand their actual access that they have to heaven.
Yeah.
Like I think people don't
Yeah.
really
And I think
understand
also,
that.
I think sometimes we don't even truly understand who God is. Like we expect miracles based on our capacity, like the things that we can do, what's within our reach. But if we truly understand the characteristics and the ability of God, then that's when you are able to ask without doubts. Because like we
Yeah.
often put God in our box.
Yeah. Now there are so God does work miracles within what he already provided in the earth. Meaning there are sometimes because let's not get confused when, like you said, when you do the work, the thing come. Now there is work required in general when you're
Hmm.
faithing. So anytime God want to do something, he does it through you, in you, with you participating in it. So for me, I had to go shopping for the car, go look around, go ask questions, go see what you want. I had to call the bank, like I still had things to do,
Hmm.
right? So I
Yeah.
think there are like still steps to performing and seeing the miracle come through. And the miracle
Hmm.
is that what you wasn't qualified for, what shouldn't have happened. That is when you know it's a miracle based
Yeah.
off you being obedient to the work, right? But
Hmm.
then there's
Hmm.
other miracles where it's just truly just acts of God. Like
Yeah.
it couldn't be nobody but God. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and those are different kinds of
Yeah.
miracles, but I think people have to like start studying his patterns and how
Mhm,
to
mhm.
do things to understand
Exactly.
the difference. Because they're like, I did work and ain't nothing happened. And it's like,
Yeah,
but were your steps ordered by the Lord to
right.
you know what I mean? There's a difference. So I just wanted to clear that up for somebody who probably like, well, what's the difference? Because I did work,
Yeah.
but and it's like, there's still steps. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah. So, okay, so you saying, like, there's steps to this and you have to still do the work, like,
Yeah.
work is always required.
Yeah.
That takes me into our wild card for the day.
Okay. 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 What is it?
So, the wild card is just pretty much a conversation starter,
Okay.
but someone wrote in and said well, they asked, like, "Does it seem that all podcasts talk about relationships, but
Mm.
no one is doing them?"
Ooh.
And so that's the same thing. Like, I think
Ooh.
we have just gotten into this routine of talking about it and sharing our opinion. And
Talking in
oftentimes,
theory.
yeah,
Mhm.
like, yeah, everybody want to just
Everybody adjunct professor now.
exactly, exactly. We want to talk theory. We want to create theory. And oftentimes, these theories are not even based on their personal experience. It's just
Yeah.
this generalized idea. And people really are not doing relationships. They are talking about them,
No.
complaining about them,
No.
dissecting them, but nobody
Yeah.
is in the middle doing the work, finding the partner that may be flawed or imperfect and building together. So, what are
Even
your
sitting
thoughts?
even sitting here thinking about it, it's like, huh, well, maybe they're not doing the work because they too hurt. And
Hmm.
so because I was hurt in my past relationship, I decided to make relationships a case study as opposed to
An
becoming
experiment.
another case, an experiment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like hearing you and I'm thinking about it now is like maybe everybody is just really hurt, and
Mm.
this is why we able are only able to discuss it in theory and hypothetically, because we keep dating, as we keep hearing, there's pee in the dating pool, there's this in the pool, you know what I mean? Like dating
Yeah.
is just sucking right now, online,
Mhm.
in person, mutual friend, met through a friend, like it is sucking right now for everybody. And so
Yeah.
maybe we are at a societal state that, I'm over it, but let me just talk about it. let me
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
do it as a case study. Let me dissect it as opposed to try again, right? And it takes
Mhm, mhm.
vulnerability to try again. It takes
Yeah.
a willingness to want to, if vulnerability, I think that's the best word for it. It takes vulnerability to want to try again and
Mhm.
actually be a person of what you're talking about. And
That's
that's why
true.
our podcast, because everything we talk about is either likely from things we've experienced
Mhm.
or very closely labored with someone who did
Right.
experience, you know what I mean? Like we're not just discussing things because of theories, because we want to write books.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's life. And
Yeah.
so I agree with the wild thought. I wish it was more people
Right.
experiencing.
No, I think that's a really good point that you mentioned, like, maybe people are really just hurt.
Yeah.
That's something that I would have never considered in that way, but I do think that that is a very real thing.
I heard it when
As
you was talking about it. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I was just thinking about how we have conversations more so about business where we can get analysis paralysis, but it sounds like that's the same thing that's happening with relationships. Like we're so
Ooh.
busy analyzing and trying to rework it and find more information and all this stuff. They're paralyzed. Like
Yeah.
we gotta get out there and do it. Like, you gotta jump off the porch, and get into it. Roll your sleeves up and figure it out with a partner. And not saying that you just accept any partner, but at some point you do have to take the risk. I do think that love is a risk,
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that a lot of us have experienced hurt and traumatic situations. It's very unfortunate that people don't always act with integrity, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you have to try again. Dust yourself off and try again,
Yeah.
and I want to, especially for our generation, because I think, and maybe it is now that we're talking about it, maybe it is that just deep rooted hurt. Because even in the midst of the conversation and the chaos and the walls that are clearly built, there's still like this deep desire for people to have partnership. Like people really do want love, you know?
It's in our nature, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's how God designed us, right? Like
Hmm.
he designed us out of love and admiration. Like it's in the
Yeah.
Bible that he desires us human beings and love us unconditionally and like us better way more than the angels. It doesn't say it like that in the Bible, but it's like that
Yeah.
in the Bible. Like
Hmm.
that's how much he created us, with so much love and to
Yeah.
live interdependently. We are going to
Interdependently.
be one.
Hmm.
And it's like, I'm not surprised that the underlining of us is really love. Like, it's like everybody out here now is hopeless romantic, especially with social media and with people posting their families and their relationships. Oh, that made us even more hopeless romantics. You know what I mean? Of just like, oh, and it's really
Yeah.
me, but it's like, honey, it's okay.
Honey.
That is your desire. Like you
Yeah, it's okay.
can be loved
Yeah.
and feel that. Like try it. And
Mhm.
sometimes let's be real too though. Like if we are like afraid of starting relationships again, let's be real about our decision making.
Yeah.
Sometimes the person tell you who they are and you still go for it. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you see the red stats and you still go for it. And then you know how they
Yeah.
always talk about us women not liking the nice guys. Like sometimes it be available to us, but we not willing
Right.
to try something different. Same with men. Like yeah, we already know men love the women that look good. But if you keep getting stabbed in the back by the woman that looks good, like maybe you should try something different. Like
Yeah.
this is how we get unstuck from that analysis paralysis and from that, perpetual cycle of, just discussing relationships as opposed to being in it. I was watching a panel of a bunch of singles, it kind of irritated me because his question was to male and female, why aren't you married? And everybody responds, I'm just waiting on God to send me da 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 da. But it was so many like relationship coaches and love experts. And I'm not one of them people who like you can't coach people if you're not in that situation. I'm not like that because I believe in wisdom and I understand the Bible. Like I understand, like I get
Mm-hmm.
it of that intercession, right? But everybody response was that, and it kind of annoyed me because it was like, man, but are y'all doing the work? Like, have y'all jumped back in the ring? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody just blamed it on God, right?
Right.
When I'm my best self, I'm gonna attract who's supposed to attract to me. But I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
at the panel, and what I'm seeing is like, you're a nice looking guy. She like, well, haven't y'all kicked it? Did
Yeah, right.
y'all like after this panel? Did you engage
Yeah.
with this person? Like, are y'all taking these opportunities, or are we just like the society now? Are we just caught up on, what is it, the getting money, getting the bag phase, and I'm just working on me phase, and it's just like a
Mm-hmm.
distraction now. And
Yeah.
then say we want relationships, but we don't want to do the work or actually engage with qualified people.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody think it's like going to be like the miracle, like we just talked about.
Yeah.
And
That's
then they're gonna
true.
go up to the person and be like, "Oh, a pot of gold," and it's like, no, there's still little small steps, followers in the air. You know what I mean? Like that, you would still have to take. But
Yeah.
that was a great wild card. I would
It
like to see
was.
more
And
people do
so I feel
relationships.
like our responses again, today's God is so good. I feel like this is the finale
Right.
episode and everything is like just seamlessly flowing. But
Okay,
let's
do
get
that
into this
because I'm
good
lost. Like,
girl. Let's get
we
into
get
this
into some
good
good
girl
girl
conversation.
conversation.
And from what we just talked about, like how we have to try things and get out of the analysis paralysis, like you have to get in there to figure it out, right?
Hmm.
And that goes into our topic for today of through action comes clarity. Like it's
Yeah,
still,
I guess it all did flow, huh, guys?
yeah.
With action comes clarity has been like she and I's mantra since when did we first sit down and write about the podcast? Was that January 7th? I remember it was on the 7th day because I was like completion. But like 2021, I think.
Yes.
That's when we first wrote it down.
That's when we first wrote. Yes, it was right after that because I had COVID and I got COVID at the end of 2020. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like we wrote that down, and guess what? Since like building this podcast, that's what we've been getting. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's
Every
been
step.
helping us. This podcast has been helping us individually get
Hmm.
more clarity in what our goals and purposes
Yeah.
in life, but also like building this plane while flying.
Right.
It's
And I
been something.
think I think with the podcast again, both of us can get stuck in the planning phase
Correct.
individually and together. Um and so we can't we talked about it. We had the idea. We like we did all of these things, but
Yeah.
as we start taking small steps, even just
Yeah.
like this episode, like when we took one step and then it literally opened the door for the next step. The next step made more sense after we
Good.
did that step.
You
And so I
better
think
be in live broadcasting telling us how to see his patterns. You're teaching.
okay. But
You're
no,
teaching.
really, like I feel like throughout this season we would like talk about it frequently, just about how we're so grateful for the platform
Yeah.
of Good Girls Wild Thoughts
Yeah.
because it's made so many other things make sense,
Yeah.
like
It, man.
like
I feel,
navigating the
mhm.
uncertainty of how to start a podcast, how it was going to
Yeah.
work with us being in different states, learning the
Mhm.
technology, learning, we have had audio issues, we had all these things. So there's so many uncertainties that we've had to learn to navigate.
Yeah.
But literally every episode, every step, every planning meeting that we had, the plan just beautifully unfolded more and more.
Correct.
So reflecting back on the first episode, January 21st, how, like we,
One
even though we
day.
had planned, we planned for a year, but we decided to launch in a short amount of time, because it was like, okay, let's jump off the porch. Let's launch, like
Yeah.
let's just do the thing that
Take
we've
off.
been planning, take off. Yeah. Um, and since then, despite the uncertainty, we've been able to persevere, and it's just becoming more and more clear. Even so much that now we have vision well beyond season one. Like,
Man, then didn't even see that coming. That just like
yeah,
was oozing out as we were going. Like, oh,
exactly, exactly.
oh.
So I think that's amazing. And I think the most important part within all of it is really seeing how the obedience brings the favor, like, because we are being obedient in what we were instructed to do, we're being obedient with how God wants this to look. The
Mm-hmm.
favor is coming with it. So it's almost like effortless to produce the podcast, to get on here
Yeah,
and talk. Like, this isn't something
yeah,
that's scripted. Like, it's literally flowing from us due to the obedience of
yeah,
just doing, and
yeah,
trusting that with our action, with our obedience, with our movement, the clarity will be provided.
yeah. No, that's good. It was something you said, and I think I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, well, I do have a question for you. So
Uh-huh.
I know we talk about how this has just been such a blessing for us together, but individually, we both have our own individual brand. So how do you feel like this action and clarity, what clarity has it brought to your business? Shut Up Fear.
Oh man. I'm sorry, guys. I think I told you before.
Just tired.
I shared before with Daisy. We always talk. I said, "Girl, it feel like I've been reviving or revising business or business plan for several years now." So, Shut Up Fair started out as one thing, but then it grew into this other thing, and then in my mind, it became another thing. And then when you get a
Hmm.
download from the Lord, it'd be something else, you know. And so it's been a lot. So honestly, us building this plane while it's flying is teaching me personally that with Shut Up Fear to keep flying,
To
right? Like I
keep
think I've been
flying.
trying to like stop and plan it out, get all the ducks in a row, try to get your team and all this. And it's like, girl, keep flying. Because when you keep
Yeah.
flying, run into the people that want to help you, run into the people who gets the vision, you run into, data from those that's eating up what you're giving that can help you build better. And I think
Yeah.
that's what I experience most with Good Girl Wild Thoughts, because right after we do our shows, you and I have feedback for each other about the show, and it gives us another spark of what how else we can build upon the show.
Yeah.
And I understand now, like, man, when again we said it, with action comes clarity. The more action
Hmm.
you take, the more clearer it
It
gets.
becomes, yeah.
Yeah, so like for people who get writer's block or creator's block, sometimes when we get those blocks, it's not until you go out to the coffee shop or you go hang out or you go whatever, until you live life, when
Hmm.
you clear it up and then you're like, oh, I got inspired. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, with Shut Up Fear, I plan to keep flying. I plan to
Mm.
add more parts to it and just let it be what it's gonna be. Because and then I'm also realizing 2 days, like, if something doesn't work, it's okay.
It's okay. Mhm.
Like, I'm realizing, like, if you don't like that, you don't have to do it, or
Yeah.
that can be seasonal or limited edition. Like, I'm learning that because I thought everything, going back to what we said a bunch of podcasts ago, like things had to be super perfect, and it doesn't.
Mhm.
But what does that look like for you? Or you got something?
Um, yeah, so one thing to go off what you're saying, what I've learned that yes, it's okay if you don't like something to stop it or start over, but
Mhm.
more importantly, oftentimes you don't know if you like it until you try it. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's okay to have an idea, start it, put energy, effort into it, and at any moment if you feel like it no longer serves you, it's okay to
Yeah.
stop, to put it down.
Yeah. It's
You
okay to
know,
experiment.
because even the opposite of moving forward is that's still clarity, figuring out that it's not for you. So even still in that action, the clarity becomes, I thought this was something that I was interested in, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah.
So it can go either way. You make the action, you take the steps,
Yeah.
and the clarity is either, oh my God, yes, this is
Yeah.
it, let me move forward, or actually I don't need to give any more energy to this because it's not the thing.
Yeah.
So either way, so removing that fear, so going back to your business, shut up fear, like removing the fear, getting out of the cycle of planning, getting unstuck, and taking the action gives you an answer
Yeah.
either way. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
for me with 89th and Bloom, this has given me more courage to just be what I've already known.
Yeah.
So years and years and years ago, over a decade now, I've always had this deep passion and I've always done work with women.
Mhm.
I like to say that I was women's empowerment way before it was cool,
Yeah.
So going back to what 2007, that was my first time being in a women's organization, so I've done this work for a very long time, but I wasn't always sure of what it looks like or how I should fully walk in it.
Mhm.
But with GGWT, it's just made it so much clearer that I am a woman's woman, and
Yeah.
my calling, my business, all of it is wrapped up in me serving women
Yeah.
in different capacities, and not limiting myself, so I'm serving women through helping them navigate these, challenging things that we talk about in the wild here. I'm serving women with my writing. I'm serving women with my doula work, all of these things. And so a lot of times I felt like it was just so much and it was all over the place. But
Yeah.
I see now that the root of it is serving women, helping women not only heal, but birth things as well,
Yeah.
So it's given me a lot of clarity and courage to just be who I am and operate in that.
Yeah. So I guess I answered mine differently than yours. So I guess with shut up fear, because for you, 89th Bloom is solidifying that you serve women. And I
Mhm.
guess for me with this podcast is showing me solidify me as Diamond Ballet, and what I do with shut up fear is that like coaching people out of fear.
Out
You
of
know what I
fear.
mean? And
Mhm.
but also like turning them to the word of God on how you can do
Yeah,
that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it's all in tandem when I used to think things were separated. Like, okay, God, I know I love you, and is that a ministry? And then this is just, something else.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, I think it's in tandem, which is like assisting people through their journeys of life to let fear
Yeah.
go, to actually take action and pursue whatever the thing is, whether it's a
Mhm.
personality type, if it's an actual goal in business or personal, if it's in relationships or friendships or whatever else. I think it's just about pushing people. I'm a pusher too.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think to me it sounds like you've been doing the coaching and helping people shut down the fear, right? So
Correct.
GGWT sounds like the answer or the results of shut up fear. Like so
Really?
not
Okay,
only,
yeah.
like not only are you guiding and coaching people how to do it, but you are living it out.
I'm doing it. Oh,
Yeah.
so this goes back to the wild card. I'm one of them podcasters in theory and in action. Okay.
And in action, yeah. So I think GGWT is the results of Shut Up
Right.
Fear, and I
Up.
think GGWT is the affirmation of 89th and Bloom. Like
Wow. That's
I
really
do.
good.
It's like, yeah, girl, this is it. On both ends. But yours is like, okay, I've been doing this. I talk about it. I got t-shirts. I got all this stuff. I preach Shut Up Fear, but now you were being tested in that. Like,
For
am I
real.
going to allow the fear to overtake, or am I
I
gonna
really was.
shut it up and move forward, right? And for
Uh-huh.
me, it's like, okay, I have these things, I'm a little uncertain, and this is like, but girl, here it is coming full circle. Like, this is who you are, this is what you do. And this is just another avenue to get the message out.
Correct. Wow. Well, she summed it up. But no, that's really good clarity. Like again, guys, our stuff be in real time. Like remember we used
Mhm.
to be on the phone because this is a result of our phone conversation. We'd be like, bro, like we're healing in real time.
Yes, yes. Like, okay, so let's go back to episode 1. Like,
Okay.
these are not just antics for this podcast. Like, it's not about
No.
content and branding and because it sounds good. We have
No.
literally been healing in real time together.
Together.
And yeah, it's a joke, but it's like we just decided to let y'all on a three-way. Like this
Correct.
is what our
Correct.
conversations have been. Um Diamond refers to me as her doula, but a
Mhm.
lot of times you were like my spiritual advisor, like on both
Mm.
ends, we have helped each other heal in so many ways and
Yeah.
progress and elevate. And I mean, we had to do the deep hard work. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
all giggles. Everything wasn't a chatty patty, okay?
Yeah.
Like it was not
No,
a
no,
chatty patty. It
no,
was
no, no.
it was not always chatty
Just
patty.
like,
It
go
was
ahead and cry, sis, I'm here. Go ahead
yeah,
and be
for
frustrated and
real.
angry. I'm not judging, you know?
And
And
I can speak for myself. I'm not a very expressive person like that because I do think I've learned how to be very self-sustaining and like kind of take care of myself, right? But
that's real.
through our conversation, like I did gain this different level of vulnerability where I could, reach
Yeah.
out for help. And your word is, be interdependent, like really it
Mhm.
clicks like, oh no, you really do have a person that you can figure this stuff out with.
Yeah. Yeah. We cannot do this life alone. This is why I think
Yeah.
loneliness is like a crisis nowadays because we've lost that interdependence is so important. Like, and we say it all the time, we always give each other accolades that we literally could not do this journey without each other.
Yeah.
Like,
For real.
literally. Like, if we did not connect, I don't know how he would have got all of
Yeah.
the workings that we got to this moment. how
Mhm.
what other way would he have done it, right? Because we left the
Right.
churches, and our circles got smaller and more intentional and more in depth.
Mhm.
And it's like, what other way would you have gotten this out, Lord? Like,
Yeah.
that's something
For
to think.
real.
And so this journey has been a pleasant one, but you just summed it up so well. Like, you are now affirmed, and I'm now walking in action. And it's just like,
Mhm.
ah!
Yeah.
So season
This is
one just
so
was a
good.
banger. It was a banger. Like,
It
this
was a
was
banger.
banger.
And I
But
just want to say thank you for everyone who has listened and tuned in.
yeah, yeah,
Y'all are making this what it is. Again, we could have just stayed on the phone forever,
yeah,
right on a
yeah.
cell phone. But
Still being hiding, right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And so I appreciate that this is confirmation that it's not just for us, that people are
yeah,
also experiencing the things that we experience. They're interested in our voices, and
yeah,
it feels good to know that it's not just for us,
yeah,
And I would have been totally fine if it was, right? But
yeah.
like
Me too. Because I feel
it's
so in purpose. Like, I
yeah.
feel so validated here. I think I
Mhm.
said that one episode ago. Like, this this feels like acceptance for me.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
That's
This feels like
good.
acceptance for me. So
Acceptance
even if
and
y'all wasn't,
affirmation.
yeah. So
Right?
even if y'all wasn't listening, we
Yeah.
gonna do us.
All right, so I know we always give a valley quote at the end
Mhm.
of our conversation,
Let's do
but
something different.
I want to do it a little bit different. Well, we want to do a little different, and we are going to put it in the listeners' hands to make the valley quotes for this episode. So, again, we have gotten some amazing feedback from our listeners and our
Mhm.
viewers, and we just want to share with you all to one, say thank you, but
Yeah,
also to affirm you all that you are heard, you are seen, and
yeah,
that we are literally on this journey in the wild together.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, you want to start off? I know we got quite a few. That was just some wonderful, wonderful thoughts and
So
feedback.
y'all know we on YouTube and your audio podcast. So on YouTube, there are some comments, and this one says, "Loving everything about this, encouraging and inspiring, and y'all look gorgeous doing it. God is moving, excited about what He is doing all around.
Oh,
Love it."
wow.
What you got?
Let's see. All right, this one. Oh, hold on. All right, it says, oh, hold on. I lost it, y'all. Give me a second here. Okay, so this person, and this is funny because I know we talk about asking for wild cards every week, and sometimes people have told us that they're a little apprehensive or whatever, but then they'll be like, "Oh, y'all answered a question that I already had." So this person said they had a question that they usually only discuss with their close friends, and they were going to ask us to discuss it, but we end up discussing it anyway. But she said that she loved the way it says, "I love both of you ladies and how you answer the questions in a classy way, but straight to it. It's much needed."
Wow. Another one. Y'all last episode was fire. This blessed my soul, encouraged, and then she hashtag what the subject of the video was, prioritize. So
Mhm.
people are getting nuggets from this.
Yes. All right, let's see. I'm gonna read all of this. It's a little long, but I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
I love the part about sending roots back to the stream because it's a call to action to remember your roots and water them. If that's like what we said, remembering what God has done, remembering how faithful He's been by building stones of remembrance or making sure I'm in close contact with truth to dispel the lies the enemy throws at me daily. I could identify with a lot from that episode. In what ways do you feel challenged or inspired by what you learned? So that was good. So they not only gave us the response, but they still wanted to ask us a little bit further on what our perspective was. So, and that to me is the point of this, to not just ramble and
Yeah.
talk, but to open the conversation up.
Conversations. Yeah.
Hmm.
This was such a great podcast and interview, ladies. Young women need this. So I thought that was a good one. And then
Hmm.
really enjoyed the talk around love. Awesome.
Yeah. This
That's
one
what's
was,
back. Hmm.
yeah. This one says, enjoying GGWT, authentic and healthy.
Mm,
It
that's
says, absolutely love the scripture you gave, making sure what we do is glorifying God. That's it right there.
I love that one. So these are Valley quotes that you guys have submitted to us. And guess what, y'all? We are still in the wilderness, like much you guys. Like there's different wildernesses for everybody, right? And so these Valley quotes that we are speaking out loud, letting y'all know what the audience said to us, is
Hmm.
helpful for us to carry and to put in our
Yeah.
lives as we go to season 2, as we end season 1, as we continue the journey of GGWT and expanding to so many things because we got some good stuff we want to get to y'all.
I want to just close with, do you have any more? I want to close with this one if you,
Nope.
no? Okay, this one says, I have never listened to a podcast in my life. This is my first. I thoroughly enjoyed the topics and conversation, and I actually learned that I'm not too old to pivot and do the things I want to do that will make me happier, even at my age, because I deserve it. I'm so proud of you, ladies, and I wish you all the success you can handle. I am motivated. I love you. Wow.
Wow. Come on,
That's
first
good.
time podcaster. Thank you so
Right?
much. So again, thank everybody, every listener, every share, every hashtag, every comment, for all that you did. It helped us to see our progress. It helped us to see if we have an audience, right? Like again, when you're taking off on the plane, you don't know who the passengers are going to be, right? You're just building it and you're preparing a place for those who want to be there. And so
Mhm.
thank you for helping us gauge, who with us, you know what I mean, and who for us, you know what I mean. So thank every listener, thank everyone that's been a part of season 1.
Yes. So this is the finale of season 1. We are gonna take a few weeks, to break and reset and come back for season 2. So definitely follow us,
Yeah,
um, on Instagram and Facebook so you can keep up with us in the meantime. And make sure you're commenting and sending in those wild cards because we need them for the next season.
yeah.
I know I kind of stole the good girls tidings, but
We got you.
yeah, we just want to make sure we still want to stay involved and engaged with you all, even though it's the end of the technical season. We have so much more to offer and so much more to
Yeah,
come. So I'm excited. I'm grateful. I love
yeah.
all of y'all. I love you, Diamond. This has
I
been
love you
amazing.
too. It has.
Go ahead and give them
You
all
guys
the stats
already
and the
know.
deets.
Give them what now?
I said, go ahead and give them all the formalities of where they can find us, how to do it, and all
I
that good.
think you did. I'm just gonna do you, baby. So
All
remember.
right. So remember, just to solidify, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram at Good Girls Wild Thoughts Podcast.
Yeah.
You
GGWT
can,
podcast.
yes, GGWT Podcast. You can email us your wild cards if you don't have Instagram or whatever. And that's GGWT Podcast at gmail.com. Again, this is a conversation for all of us. So don't be shy, don't be
Mhm.
afraid. And we are looking forward to a new season of
Yeah.
the Good Girls Wild Thoughts podcast.
Yes, yes, yes. So you guys already know. Remember, when you submit yourself to God, you will find your most authentic self. Stay
Stay
consecrated.
consecrated.
Them some good girls with the wild thoughts. Them some good girls with the wild thoughts.